to Mind Matters, Anxiety in College Students. Today we're going to be talking about generalized anxiety disorder, and I'm Maddie.
I'm Aaliyah.
I'm Stephanie.
I'm Genesis.
I'm Itzel.
I'm Alani.
So as we're all coming up on midterms, a lot of us might be feeling quite a bit of stress and nervousness about it. But usually after we take our tests, we can kind of feel that stress and fear go away. But for some people, it doesn't go away. And there might not even be a real cause that can be identified for the feeling. It's just sort of there. And this can be a sign of generalized anxiety disorder. So we want to bring awareness to the topic because it's the most frequently occurring mental disorder. And it affects people of all ages, genders, and backgrounds. So today we'll be talking about the signs and symptoms, causes, how anxiety manifests in college students, treatment and coping mechanisms, and resources to those who struggle with GAD. So to start, we have a short video that describes how GAD can be characterized.
GAD is characterized by excessive, persistent, and unreasonable anxiety about everyday things like money, family, work, and relationships. Even sometimes the thought of getting through the day causes anxiety. If the anxiety is persistent, then it doesn't seem to go away. If it's excessive, it's usually more than someone else might feel. And if it's unreasonable, they probably shouldn't have a reason to feel anxious about it. People who have GAD might even understand that their anxieties are excessive and unreasonable, but they feel it's out of their control and don't quite know how to stop it.
In addition to feeling a worry and anxiety, other symptoms can be feeling worried, edgy, or restless, trouble concentrating or making decisions, and avoidance of situations or perceived threats. And some of these can also lead to physical manifestations like sweating, nausea, stomach aches, headaches, chest pains, shortness of breath, fatigue, lack of energy. And definitely, I feel like as a student, I feel like we've all felt this at one point.
In the spring 2022 National College Health Assessment, it was actually reported that more than 1 in 3 students are diagnosed with anxiety disorder. And at UTEP, that translates to over 8,000 students, which is a lot. So that makes it important to know the signs of how GAD can manifest itself in students. And I think Alani had some information on that.
Yes, Maddie. So anxiety definitely does affect college students when taking an exam. And according to the University of Vienna, students with higher test anxiety tend to perform worse on exams. And it not only can affect the cognitive processes, but it also affects your working capacity. So when you're taking a test, you could completely blank out once you're about to take it, or just completely forget the curriculum that you're supposed to be working on. And it does tend to crash in with the limited working memory activity that causes a clash in the brain, kind of like I mentioned with the complete blank, to the point that it's not only the specialist knowledge, but it has to be the exam knowledge that you need to be aware of, and just kind of knowing those important cognitive skills when dealing with anxiety. Does anyone know if there's a common cause to general anxiety disorder, or do you guys have anxiety when taking exams?
Yes, so I do get anxiety, but I also know that there's not a known cause for general anxiety disorder. But according to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America website, there has been evidence found that proves that they can be biological factors or family background and life experiences that can play a role in somebody who has general anxiety disorder.
And I think when we're talking about how GAD can be described or recognized, we can also say that the unreasonable quality about it can be really subjective. What's unreasonable to me might not be unreasonable to you guys. So we would use the Diagnostic and Statistic Manual of Mental Disorders, or the DSM-5, to help diagnose. And that just serves as a guideline or checklist. If you experience one or more of these symptoms, you might have GAD. So the criteria that's given is feelings of anxiety must have been present for more days than not. An example given was that the feelings of anxiety are there for 90 out of 180 days, which translates to about 6 months. The feelings are hard to control, or it's hard to self-soothe or calm yourself. And for adults, they must feel at least 3 of these to be diagnosed with GAD, but in children, it's actually only 1 symptom to diagnose. And then that anxiety also would have to cause impairment in daily life, like missing deadlines or not being able to go to school or work. And finally, if it's not better explained by another mental disorder, then it's most likely GAD. And Itzel, I know you had some things to share about how we can treat that.
Yes, so treatments for GAD include psychotherapy or medication or a combination of both. And then psychotherapy does have advantages as medication can be prescribed and it can be addictive to the person. Yeah. And then these medications are called benzodiazepines. And after having these symptoms occurring for more than 6 months, they could be diagnosed with GAD. And then the medication, benzodiazepines, they mimic the effect of the gamma butyric acid, and it's a neurotransmitter in the brain which helps relieve anxiety. And then the GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter believed to be involved in the reducing of the neurons in the brain and have been implicated in the etiology as well as anxiety disorders.
And then Aaliyah, do you know about some methods or approaches to managing GAD?
Yes, so in managing GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, some basic methods, like as a student, is mainly to identify your triggers, and also helpful tips like designing a self-care plan, like setting goals for sleep, nutrition, exercise, as well as limits for substance abuse. Getting organized, I know having a calendar is super productive and helps you manage your day. And practice mindfulness, like meditation, yoga, breath awareness are all proven to help reduce GAD. And these practices help shift the nervous system from the fight or flight response to the relaxation response. And I know, Steph, you found some coping exercises that you wanted to share.
Yeah, so going along with what you were saying is that sometimes when we become aware, we can better handle a situation. So I did find a coping mechanism that is called the 3-3-3 rule, in which a person, let's say they have general anxiety disorder and they're experiencing a panic attack because it's the day before midterm and they're very anxious. So what this rule is they have to pause in the moment and find 3 objects that they can hear, 3 objects that they can see, and 3 objects that they can feel. This would allow them to have an opportunity to ground themselves and to become more calm, reducing that anxiety that's built up and kind of feel more at ease. Because we have to remember that in a moment of anxiety, sometimes it can even interfere with their ability to breathe. And it's not that they can't breathe, they just feel so anxious inside that they enter into a panic mode. But it's also important to remember that this is one coping mechanism that can help somebody, but not everybody is the same. So it's important to know that if you are somebody that experiences anxiety, you should probably seek professional help, so that you can find the coping mechanisms that will work the best for you. And to wrap up our podcast, Genesis, I know you would like to share something with us?
Yes, I would. So to begin, it is really important for anybody who's struggling with GAD to have a very good support system, because anxiety is usually co-occurring with other mental disorders, such as depression. But if you are going to be a part of someone's support system, it is really, really important to know how you can help with them, and also resources that you can provide for them with those who are struggling. So I found this website. It's called Anxiety and Depression Association of America. So basically what they do is they raise awareness on the impact of mental health, physical health, and they try to find new treatments to prevent and cure anxiety, depression, OCD, PTSD, and any co-occurring disorders. As I was reading, I thought it was really interesting because not only can they provide you with a therapist, but it's also really cool because it's on the computer. So I know sometimes people are either too busy or they just don't have the time to go fully face to face. So they have one online, on a Zoom, a therapist that fits in your needs of what you need to get help with. I also thought it was also really cool because they have Q&As. So if anybody's struggling and they have questions about oh, maybe I could have this or that, there's also open Q&As that anybody can ask questions to. They also have like personal blogs, so people tell their stories of like what they're struggling with and how they dealt with it. And I thought it was really cool because sometimes people may not know there's other people out there struggling with what they have. So I thought that was a really good touch. And also, I just learned some signs of anxiety, like how we said before: sweating, nausea, feeling edgy or restless, getting easily fatigued, anxious thoughts, anxious behaviors, but also never enable anybody who deals with this. If anything, just learn how we can help them. We also have a great resource on campus in the union that is available to currently enrolled UTIP students. You can make an appointment, walk in, and they also have an after-hours hotline. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.